For the last time, my fiancée didn't come home, spending another night out with her childhood best friend. This time I was done. No one believed I was serious. To them, I was just her doormat. That is, until my new girlfriend was standing by my side. Only then did she look at me with a sense of loss, begging me to come back. 1. I'm tired of having this conversation, Ethan. Caleb is like a brother to me. We grew up together, and he's the biggest shareholder in my company now. We were just out for drinks. Can you stop being so irrational? If we were going to be together, our families would have arranged it years ago. You need to stop overthinking this. You know I would never go for an arranged marriage. Ava Sterling's face, still flushed from a night of drinking, was a mask of annoyance. I had waited up for her all night, sitting on the same couch, and my expression wasn't much better. I'd lost count of how many times she'd done this. I was exhausted. Do you even believe that yourself? I unlocked my phone and tossed it onto the coffee table in front of her. It was a picture Caleb had sent me last night. Ava, curled up asleep in a bed, looking far too intimate with him. Right? He's your brother. The kind of brother you share a bed with. Ava glanced at the photo on the screen, and the color drained from her face. It was obvious the picture was real. A wave of pure despair washed over me. Even now, you're still trying to lie to me? Seeing nothing but hopelessness in my eyes, she slid next to me on the couch, her tone softening as she tried to explain. I was drunk last night. I honestly don't remember. Caleb was just worried about me. That's why he took me to his place. Nothing happened between us. You have to believe me. Look, my clothes are perfectly fine. Why didn't you call me if you were drunk? How many times has this happened? You can't even remember, can you? I didn't want to hear any more of her excuses. They were all lies. My words must have finally cracked her proud exterior. In all the years we'd been together, someone as proud as her had never once backed down. Her eyes turned cold. You don't trust me? Fine. Then the wedding's off. Okay. My reply was short and simple, but it sent a flicker of panic across her face. She couldn't believe her ears. I was her lapdog, after all. What did you just say? I looked at her, my calmness surprising even myself. I said, I agree with you. The wedding's off. The panic in her eyes grew, but she quickly masked it with her usual composure. She stared at me for a long moment before a mocking smile spread across her lips. Do you have any idea what the consequences are? You're not going to regret this. Clearly, she didn't believe for a second that I would actually leave her. Maybe it was because we had this fight so many times, broken up so many times, only for me to come crawling back, begging her to take me back. She thought this time will be no different. I repeated myself, my voice flat. I'm doing what you want. We're not getting married. This scene had played out countless times over the past couple of years. 2 years ago, her dear brother Caleb Vance had returned to the States and invested a fortune into Ava's startup, instantly becoming its largest shareholder. From that moment on, our engagement began to unravel. We fought about Caleb endlessly. I've lost count of how many times we'd broken up, but this time I was serious. Ava, however, clearly didn't grasp my resolve. She just scoffed at me. Fina, you made your choice. Just don't come crying back to me. Now get out. I stood up, walked into the bedroom, and pulled out the suitcase I'd already packed. As I headed for the door, Ava stared, stunned. She'd never seen me pack my bags before. This was a first. Before I left, I looked at her slightly haggard face, a testament to her late nights of drinking. Even though I was letting go, a part of me still ached with concern. I sighed. You have a sensitive stomach. You should drink less. There are still 20 bottles of that hangover remedy in the cabinet. Remember to restock when you run out. The antacids are in. Enough. You're leaving, so why are you pretending to care? Get out. Ava screamed, cutting me off as she yanked the door open. Out, and don't ever let me see you again. I took one last, long look at her. I probably wouldn't be seeing her much anymore. I tried to burn the image of the girl I once loved so deeply into my memory. As I rolled my suitcase past her, I couldn't help but say one last thing. Ava, I'm breaking my promise. I'm sorry. Please, take care of yourself without me. And remember your dream. Don't give up on it. The only answer I got was the heavy slam of the door behind me. I could only imagine how furious she was. Downstairs, I wasn't surprised to see Caleb. Of course, he'd been the one to drop her off. He was leaning against his sports car, smoking a cigarette. When he saw me, he pushed off the car and blocked my path, his eyes glinting with provocation. Ethan. So, You're finally getting lost. I didn't say anything. A loss is a loss. I could accept that. But I had no desire to get into it with him. He wasn't ready to let me go that easily, though. He kept pushing. It's about time you let her go. You should know you're not in her league. I'm the only one who is. I met his gaze, a cold smile touching my lips. You're right, I'm not good enough. I just hope you can give Ava what she truly wants. But hey, I lost. I wish you two all the best. Hope you grow old together. Without another word, I got into the waiting taxi. As the car made a U-turn, I saw Caleb fix his hair and head into the apartment building. I shook my head and smiled faintly. Ava and I really were from different worlds. I wished her happiness. I truly did. But I had a feeling Caleb wasn't the right guy for her. Ava had been upstairs for over half an hour, and Caleb was still waiting down here. What was he waiting for? For us to fight so he could step in. A guy with that kind of manipulative streak would never tolerate Ava's ambitions. Not a chance. But like he said, I had lost. 3 Ava and I met in college. Back then, she was the center of everyone's universe, a shining star. I was just some quiet kid on a scholarship. If it weren't for that one night, she had too much to drink and ran into a couple of muggers, and I jumped in front of her and took a knife to the arm. We probably would have never even spoken. She visited me often while I was in the hospital. We discovered we had so much in common, and that's when the first seeds of love were planted. The Ava I knew then was a proud, fiery young woman, a world away from the cold, high-powered CEO she is today. When did it all start to change? I think it was the year we graduated. Ava was an only child. That year, her father brought home the illegitimate son he'd been keeping on the side. I remember how withdrawn Ava was then, shutting out all her friends. I was probably the only person she still talked to. It was that year that Ava realized in her father's eyes, she would always just be the daughter he had to marry off. She would never be the heir. That was the first time the girl who'd had everything handed to her felt a true sense of crisis. She refused to let her father hand over the empire her parents had built together to some illegitimate son who had no right to it. But things didn't go her way. Her father began grooming the boy, bringing him everywhere. At galas and corporate events, the boy was presented as the heir to the Sterling family, while Ava was relegated to schmoozing with the other corporate wives and daughters, trying to forge connections for the family. One night, she ran out of her house in tears and found me. She threw herself into my arms, and in that moment, it felt like I was the only one who could save her. The tears soaking through my shirt made me feel like I would have torn my own heart out for her. Ethan, she sobbed, I won't let him get what he wants. Sterling Corp is my parents' legacy. I'll prove to them that I'm the only one who can lead it. You'll help me, won't you? I held her tight and told her I would never leave her side. From that day on, Ava left her life as a socialite behind and began the grueling process of building her own company from scratch. But starting a business is never easy, especially since she'd never been involved in managing her family's enterprise. Her father was completely against her choice, and in a fit of rage, even tried to arrange a marriage for her. The stubborn Ava went on a 3-day hunger strike, which finally softened her father's resolve just a little. This is your last chance, he'd told her, his voice like iron. If you succeed, I'll consider it. If you fail, you'll do as I say. Get married and have children. His ultimatum became her only lifeline. To prove him wrong, Ava threw everything she had into her company, and I willingly became her right-hand man, clearing every obstacle in her path. I can't deny that back then, Ava's eyes were filled with nothing but work and me. I gave everything for her dream. But fate has a twisted sense of humor. We fought for the same goal, only to end up on different paths. After Caleb returned, he and Ava, being childhood friends, started spending a lot of time together. Many of their interactions crossed a line, and I was intensely jealous. I brought it up with Ava many times, which eventually led to arguments, but she always brushed it off. She called me petty, said I was overreacting. My once burning love for her slowly began to grow cold. Deep down, I knew nothing had actually happened between Ava and Caleb. It was mostly Caleb's one-sided pursuit. What truly broke my heart was Ava's attitude. Last night was simply the final straw that broke the bond between us. As I watched the city lights blur past the car window, my heart finally felt quiet. Maybe this was acceptance. Ava and I were over. All I could do was wish her well. For the day I decided to leave, I submitted my resignation. It was a pointless gesture, really. I had been irrelevant at that company for a long time, even though I had poured my heart and soul into building it. When Jessica Lynch in HR received my request, she called me, her voice dripping with disbelief. "Ethan, did you discuss this with Miss Sterling? I don't have the authority to approve this." Her tone was a mix of shock and, I suspected, a little bit of glee. Jessica was Ava's distant cousin, and her family's livelihood depended on the Sterling Empire. She had always made a point of subtly undermining me, constantly trying to drive a wedge between me and Ava. I'd be a fool to think she hadn't played a part in the conflicts between us over the years. I remember 2 years after we founded the company, we landed a massive contract that finally gave us some breathing room. Ava was ecstatic and threw a huge celebration dinner. I drank a lot that night, filled with a sense of accomplishment since I'd been the one to close the deal. I stumbled to the restroom to splash some water on my face. As I was about to head back, I overheard voices from the women's restroom next door. It was Ava and Jessica. At first, I was just going to wait for Ava to come out so we could go back together, but what I heard made me freeze. "Ava, you really need to be careful," Jessica was saying. "Everyone in this company, from top to bottom, only listens to Ethan. They basically ignore what you say." Ava sounded unconcerned. "Don't be so dramatic. Ethan is one of the co-founders. It's normal for them to respect him." But Jessica pressed on. "I know he's a co-founder, but don't forget why you started this company in the first place. Don't let someone with ulterior motives take advantage of you." Ava fell silent. After a long pause, she finally said, "Don't be ridiculous. I trust Ethan. He would never betray me." Back then, I stood there feeling a surge of warmth and gratitude, like a fool. I didn't realize that from that day forward, my authority within the company would be slowly chipped away. Last year, I voluntarily stepped back from a leadership role. On the phone, Jessica's voice snapped me out of my memories. "Ava and I broke up," I said flatly. "It wouldn't be appropriate for me to stay at the company. You can run it up the flagpole." Jessica was so stunned by my words that I could hear her sharp intake of breath. After a moment, she asked cautiously, "Ethan, this isn't some kind of joke, is it? You and Ava are engaged." I let out a cold laugh. This woman was a piece of work, a true social chameleon. To my face, she was all smiles, talking about our wedding. Behind my back, she was taking money from Ava's father to push me out of the company. Oh yes, I knew everything. It was all orchestrated by Ava's father. After Caleb came back, the 3 of them, her father, Jessica, and Caleb, teamed up against me. And Ava, bless her heart, was completely oblivious. It wasn't that I didn't try to tell her. It was that she wouldn't believe me. "Director Lynch," I said, my voice dripping with ice, "isn't this exactly what you and the person pulling your strings want to see? Mission accomplished. Congratulations." 5 as soon as I hung up with Jessica, Ava's call came through. I thought about it for a second and let it go to voicemail. I really didn't want to talk to her. Then came a flood of texts. "Ethan, stop being childish. Come back. Nothing happened with Caleb. Can you please stop being so petty? If you keep this up, I'm really going to approve your resignation. You won't get a single penny from this company. Think about that." I could only laugh bitterly as I read her messages. After all these years, did she really think I was just after her company? Then again, if she didn't think that, why would she have stripped me of all my power? "I know. Please approve it. I don't want anything from the company. Don't worry." I don't know how I managed to type out that message, or how Ava felt when she read it. But at least the phone went silent. No more calls, no more texts. The day I received my official termination papers, I walked straight into an interview at Morgan Enterprises. It went surprisingly well. In fact, I was hired on the spot and given the highest level of treatment, including a welcome dinner in my honor that very night. The restaurant they chose sent another wave of memories crashing over me. It was a new place with a warm, inviting atmosphere. I tried to bring Ava here so many times, hoping to smooth things over between us, but she was always too busy. I knew, however, that she had been here with Caleb. "Ava, did you and Ethan really break up? And he just left with nothing?" I heard someone mention my name and instinctively stopped in my tracks. I couldn't believe I was seeing Ava here, of all places. The irony was suffocating. It had only been a week, but she looked like she was having a rough time. She'd lost weight, and the usual fire in her eyes was gone. The private room wasn't crowded, just her, a few of her closest friends, and Caleb. Caleb was playing the part of the supportive friend. Ava and I grew up together, so we're naturally close. Ethan was always jealous, which caused a lot of problems for her. It's probably for the best that they split. Now, Ava can focus completely on the company. Ava just stared blankly at the table, not saying a word. Her friends, of course, sided with Caleb. They all knew that compared to a poor kid like me, Caleb Vance was in a different stratosphere. Ava, don't be too upset. Ethan was just a guy from the wrong side of the tracks. If he hadn't helped you start the company, he never would have been your boyfriend in the first place. Exactly. And he's not that capable anyway. As soon as the company got big, he had to step back. He couldn't handle the pressure. If you ask me, you dodged a bullet. But whatever you do, Ava, don't go soft on him. I bet he'll come crawling back to you. You can't take him back. He's just a simp. Ava won't give him a second thought. They all laughed, the atmosphere light and cheerful. Only Ava sat there in a daze, silently pouring herself glass after glass of wine. A look of concern crossed Caleb's face. I let out a bitter laugh and turned to leave. I hoped Caleb would take good care of her. The team at Morgan Enterprises was incredibly welcoming. As the new director of the investment division, brought in from the outside, I had expected some pushback. But my new colleagues were fantastic. Mr. Miller, we're so glad you're here, said the division's deputy director, who had been acting in the role. Our department hasn't had a major win in years. We're counting on you to lead us to victory. His smile was genuine. I could tell he was truly happy to have me on board. The others chimed in. That's right. That little startup of Ava Sterling's has snatched up way too many of our deals. It's time for a comeback with you at the helm, Mr. Miller. The CEO has been trying to recruit you for years. Everyone knows what you're capable of. Morgan Enterprises and Ava's company were both in the investment sector. But unlike Ava's bootstrapped venture, Morgan Enterprises was a powerhouse with deep resources, expanding at a rate Ava could only dream of. To be honest, I was a bit taken aback by all the praise. It was true that I had once led my team to secure several major investment deals, which had earned me the title of vice president. But that title was mostly for show. I had very little real decision-making power. Ever since Jessica started whispering in Ava's ear, all authority was concentrated in Ava's hands. 3 years ago, for instance, I had strongly advocated for using our limited capital to invest in promising small and medium-sized enterprises. The moment they went public, we would see a continuous stream of returns. But Ava disagreed. The pressure from her father's company, Sterling Corp., was immense. She wanted quick profits and insisted on pouring money into real estate projects that I was convinced were bad bets. We clashed over it constantly. The breaking point came during an internal meeting a year ago. We both saw the downturn coming in the construction industry. Ava argued that with banks tightening their lending, developers were desperate for cash. She saw it as a golden opportunity to make a quick, massive return. But our company had very little experience in the construction sector. Throwing our capital into an unfamiliar field was incredibly risky. As the VP in charge of investments, I formally voiced my opposition. Every other executive sided with Ava. She didn't shut me down in the meeting, but she didn't agree with me either. Afterward, I tried to talk to her about it privately several times, but it only made her angrier. Ethan, don't think that just because you've closed a few big deals, you can stand there and lecture me. This is my company. I'm the CEO. I can replace you whenever I want. The only reason you have this job is because you're my boyfriend. You need to remember your place. 7. That was a massive blow to my credibility at the company. My already limited power was reduced to practically nothing. To assert her authority, Ava took Jessica's advice and split the investment department in two. She transferred all of my top performers, leaving me with a skeleton crew for Investment Division 1 and a budget that never seemed to get approved. During that time, no one at the company dared to associate with me. Everyone knew which way the wind was blowing. No one stood by my side. Everywhere I went, I could hear people whispering, sometimes even brazenly talking right in front of me. At the end of the day, it's Ms. Sterling's company. Mr. Miller has no real power. His opinion doesn't matter, even if he's right. Exactly. Even though he's a partner, we should probably keep our distance. Don't want to get on the wrong side of things. We're just here to collect a paycheck. Let's not get involved in the boss's drama. It looks like Ms. Sterling is trying to push him out. She was trying to push him out. It had been obvious for a while. Eventually, I just went quiet. I stopped interfering in company matters. It got to the point where nobody even cared if I showed up to the office or not. When Ava finally launched her big real estate initiative, all she heard was a chorus of praise. Soon enough, the company ran into a cash flow crisis, a problem that was conveniently and perfectly solved with an injection of capital from Caleb. The prize for that solution was my 30% stake in the company, which all went to Caleb. Ava even put up 30% of her own shares as collateral, making Caleb the majority shareholder overnight. The return on the investment was staggering. Ava was thrilled. She started treating Caleb like her trusted confidant, her dear brother. As for me, she grew even colder. It was around that time that Morgan Enterprises started reaching out, trying to recruit me. But I couldn't let go of Ava back then, so I kept turning them down. Morgan Enterprises, however, was persistent and never gave up. So, the day we broke up, I finally accepted their offer. Looking back now, I know I made the right choice. My new colleagues kept toasting me, and I started to feel a bit lightheaded. I excused myself and went to the restroom to clear my head. As I came out, I ran straight into someone. The one person I really didn't want to see, Jessica Lynch. Sorry, I mumbled, trying to walk away without further conversation. Wait, Ethan, I want to talk to you. With a sigh, I turned back. Honestly, I didn't want to exchange a single word with this woman. Seeing my cold expression, Jessica looked a little uneasy. Ethan, you're eating here too? Ava's here, you know. Do you want to go over and say hi? No, thanks. You guys have fun. I threw the words at her like ice chips and turned to leave. After all, this woman was largely responsible for my current situation. But Jessica blocked my path. It seems you already saw. Ava and Caleb are basically official now. I cut her off. My patience gone. We broke up. I quit the company. What more do you want? Jessica, I suggest you watch yourself. I didn't want to hear anything about Ava. I didn't want to see her. I was afraid my resolve would weaken. Only I knew how much I truly loved her, but all of that was destroyed. If it hadn't been for Chloe Morgan taking me in, I might not even have a place to land. Sensing my impatience, she started speaking faster. Yes, you broke up and you quit. I made that happen. You must have known for a while that I was sent by Ava's father. This was all his idea. With you in the picture, Ava was slipping from his control, and he couldn't tolerate that. But Mr. Sterling is very impressed with you. He sent me to talk to you tonight. Sterling Corporation wants to offer you the position of Director of Investments. Mr. Sterling knows he didn't handle this well. As compensation, I can marry you. You'll receive the highest executive package at Sterling Corporation. I laughed out loud. Was this the joke of the century? Mr. Sterling, the man who had always looked down on me, was now willing to pay such a high price to recruit me? A job and a wife? Seeing my silence, Jessica stepped closer, trying to take my arm. I push her away forcefully. Ms. Lynch, I'm not interested in Sterling Corp, and I'm even less interested in you. But she grabbed my sleeve, refusing to let me go. Ethan, an opportunity at Sterling Corp isn't something everyone gets. You should really think about it. As for Ava, it's impossible for you too. I'm telling you, her father gave his blessing for her and Caleb to be together a long time ago. I don't actually dislike you, she continued, her voice softening. I was just following Mr. Sterling's orders. You should consider my offer. I'm not bad-looking, and I'm still related to the Sterlings. You'd still have a connection to the family. I stopped and stared at her, my expression like stone. The Sterlings really had it all figured out. Use a distant relative to rope in talented people, then marry off their own daughter in a strategic alliance for greater profit. Everyone just had to revolve around them. But I wasn't playing their game. Before I could say anything, a woman's arm linked with mine. A familiar, pleasant scent filled the air. Ms. Lynch, is it? A cool voice said. It seems your boss miscalculated. He got what he wanted. Ethan will no longer be a part of Ms. Sterling's life, nor will he be working for Sterling Corporation. I looked at the woman beside me, still so beautiful, so commanding. Chloe Morgan. She silenced me with a glance and continued addressing Jessica. And another thing, Ethan is my boyfriend now. So please, stop harassing him. Understood. The word boyfriend, coming from her lips, made Jessica's face turn pale. Under the pressure of Chloe's powerful presence, Jessica didn't dare say another word and practically fled. Chloe, you've really tied me to your chariot now, I said with a sigh. Jessica might not have spread other rumors, But the news that I had a new girlfriend would get back to Ava, her father, and Caleb in a heartbeat. Chloe Morgan, the CEO of Morgan Enterprises and heiress to the Morgan fortune, just winked at me with her stunning eyes. What's wrong? You just agreed to be my boyfriend yesterday. Having second thoughts already. Nine, the truth is, becoming Chloe's boyfriend was a complete accident. When I went to Morgan Enterprises for my interview, I was shocked to find that the CEO was my college upperclassman, Chloe Morgan. I was hired on the spot, and we ended up catching up in her office. I've been a top student, and Chloe had always recognized my potential. She had tried to recruit me for her family's company back then, but I had always turned her down to help Ava. Now, years later, here I was, the guy who had vowed to help Ava break free from her family's control, now a stray dog. And Chloe, she was already at the helm of her family's empire, a powerhouse in the corporate world. It was ironic. Ava had once seen Chloe as a rival because of me, and now I was working for her. I had asked her why she trusted me so much, why she wasn't worried that I lacked the ability, especially with all the negative rumors that had been circulating about me for the past year. She had simply raised an eyebrow. Ethan, I'm a good businesswoman. I admire your talent. The reason I kept trying to recruit you is because I recognize your capabilities. You don't need to sell yourself short. I've been following Ava's company, she continued. The fact that it's grown to its current size is a direct result of your sharp instincts. To be honest, the fact that she's lost control of the shares is her own damn fault. If she had listened to you, the company would be in a much better position. The startups you identified a year ago are almost ready to go public. Simply put, Ava's vision is too limited. It had been a long time since anyone had affirmed my abilities like that. It would be a lie to say I wasn't moved. As we were talking, her father, the chairman of Morgan Enterprises, video called her, nagging her about going on another blind date. In a moment of defiance, Chloe flipped the camera around to me and announced that I was her boyfriend. After a lengthy interrogation from her father, the old man was surprisingly satisfied. And just like that, I had a new, nominal girlfriend. 10 Chloe and I returned to the private dining room, laughing. The CEO's presence immediately kicked the party's energy up a notch. Chloe was truly charismatic. At work, she was a decisive and brilliant leader, but outside the office, she could mingle and connect with everyone. The strong sense of unity at Morgan Enterprises was a testament to her leadership, a stark contrast to Ava's company. When dinner ended and we walked out of the restaurant, we ran right into Ava's group. What a mess. Caleb was in the middle of a grand, romantic confession to Ava. He was down on one knee, holding a bouquet of red roses, his eyes full of adoration. Ava, you know I came back to this country for you. It breaks my heart to see you work so hard for your dream. Please, let me walk this path with you. Let me be your boyfriend. Let me take care of you for the rest of our lives. Ava's friends were all cheering. Ava, say yes. Say yes. But Ava's eyes were filled with confusion, not the excitement or joy everyone expected. She took a step back, and her gaze accidentally locked with mine. In that instant, I could have sworn I saw a flicker of hope in her eyes, but she extinguished it in a flash, replacing it with her usual cold pride. She was signaling me with her eyes, clearly expecting me to step in and win her back. I knew that if I walked over there, she would come back to me in a heartbeat. But I couldn't. I couldn't tolerate the lack of boundaries, the repeated betrayals. I was just so tired. I broke eye contact and started to leave with my colleagues. Whoever she chose to be with was no longer my concern. Seeing my retreating back, Ava's face contorted with anger. Ethan, when I didn't stop, she must have assumed I was jealous about Caleb again. She ran to catch up. Ethan, stop right there. I sighed and turned around. I knew her personality. If I just walked away, she would cause an even bigger scene. She stormed up to me, her beautiful eyes boring into mine. Where have you been the last few days? Why didn't you call me? Why haven't you texted? Do you know how worried I've been? I'm exhausted, trying to manage the company and deal with your jealousy. I remained silent. Did she not realize how tired I was too? Did she really think that after I packed up all my belongings and walked out, this was just another one of my jealous games? Ultimately, I had spoiled her. In all our years together, I had given everything without asking for anything in return, making her believe that my world couldn't exist without her. But for once, the proud CEO lowered her head, just slightly. Fine, let's stop fighting. Come home with me. I'll be more careful in the future. We should be getting married anyway. Let's pick a date next month, have our parents meet, and plan the wedding. I saw Caleb slowly get to his feet, his expression unreadable and dark. Ava's friends were stunned that their queen would actually back down like this for a poor kid like me. Jessica Lynch was hiding in the back, a calculating look on her face as she watched the drama unfold. I pulled my hand back from Ava's reach. "Ms. Sterling, we've already broken up." Ava looked annoyed, probably from the alcohol. She rubbed her temples. "Ethan, stop this. The company is in a really tough spot right now, and I'm so incredibly tired. You of all people should know what I'm fighting for. Can't you be more understanding? I really do love you." I cut her off, my voice cold. Those words had lost all meaning. "Caleb is a great guy. You're in the same league, and your father approves of him. With him, you won't have to struggle so much. I'm not good enough for you." She looked at me, her gaze filled with disappointment, searching my eyes for any sign of wavering. After a long moment, she realized I was serious. A furious expression washed over her face. Facing the man she had once given her heart to, the man who had walked through fire with her, the man she thought had just left in a jealous fit, she delivered her final ultimatum. "Ethan, I'm giving you one last chance. Take back what you just said, or else. She glanced over her shoulder at Caleb, then steeled herself. "Or else I'll really get together with him." I knew her heart was breaking. Mine was too, but my wounds had already begun to scar over. I looked at her for a long time before speaking calmly. "That's good. Caleb really loves you. I wish you both a long and happy life together." Ava's face went deathly pale. She bit her lip, then turned to Caleb. "I'll be your girlfriend." Even though he'd gotten what he wanted, Caleb didn't look happy. Everyone knew Ava wasn't saying yes from the heart. She was using him as a pawn to hurt me. But Caleb truly loved her. He gently stepped forward and put an arm around her, letting her lean on him. He forced a pained smile in my direction. I knew it wasn't malicious. "Ethan, thank you for letting her go. I'll take good care of Ava. I hope you find your own happiness soon." Ava leaned into Caleb's embrace, her eyes fixed on me defiantly. "Ethan, Caleb is so much better than you. His family, his abilities, he's better than you in every way. I'll be much better off without you. But you just lost everything. Don't be ridiculous. Ethan is going to be better than ever." Before I could respond, Chloe stepped in front of me, her expression radiating confidence. "You were never worthy of his devotion. Leaving you is the best thing that ever happened to him." Chloe's appearance made Ava falter, her triumphant expression vanishing. "Chloe, what are you doing here? Why do you have to judge what happens between me and Ethan?" Chloe smiled faintly and, mimicking Ava, leaned into my arms. "What's this? You're allowed to find a new boyfriend, but I'm not? Ethan is my boyfriend now. Please stay away from him in the future." Realization seemed to dawn on Ava. She glared at me, her voice filled with venom. "Ethan, I knew there was a reason you didn't come crawling back this time. You were cheating on me. Unbelievable. You cheat on me with Chloe and then have the nerve to slander me and Caleb." But Ava's spoiled heiress attitude had no effect on Chloe. She cut her off sharply. "You have some nerve. Who's the one who couldn't respect the boundaries of her relationship and kept getting tangled up with her childhood friend? That was you. Who's the one who relied on Ethan to build her company from the ground up, only to sideline him when he became a threat? That was you. Who's the one who took away his shares in the company you built together? That was also you. You're the one who broke his trust first. Don't blame anyone else. No one is going to wait around for you forever." Ava's face was a mask of horror. These are the truths she never wanted to confront. Chloe's gaze swept over the crowd, finally landing on Jessica Lynch with a cold smile. "And you know what's really pathetic? You didn't trust the man who gave you everything, but you trusted Caleb, all because of the influence of your dear cousin over there. It's laughable. Ethan poured his heart out for you for years, and you still fell into their trap and betrayed the one person who truly loved you. You're a fool." With that, Chloe played a video on her phone and tossed it to Ava. "Take a good look at how your trusted right-hand woman stabbed you in the back." The recording was crystal clear. "Yes, you broke up and you quit. I made that happen. You must have known for a while that I was sent by Ava's father. This was all his idea. As compensation, I can marry you. You'll receive the highest executive package at Sterling Corp, as long as you leave Ava for good." It was Jessica's conversation with me from the restaurant. She had never imagined it was being recorded. Jessica was frozen in shock. This was all supposed to be a secret from Ava. Ava was equally incredulous. After watching the video, she started to tremble. It was all you. Now that she was exposed, Jessica dropped the act and met Ava's gaze head-on. That's right. Your father arranged everything. I was just following orders. Ava lunged forward and slapped her several times before Caleb pulled her back. How could you betray me? I treated you like a sister. Jessica, her face red from the slaps, was no longer playing the victim. I was always working for your father. You knew that from the beginning, didn't you? This was all his plan. I admit it was underhanded, but it was the best option. Ava's face was ashen, completely devoid of color. If Caleb hadn't been holding her, she might have collapsed. She glared at Jessica, her voice a raw scream. But you were the one constantly trying to drive a wedge between us, to make him leave me. You were the one who said Ethan was getting too powerful in the company, that he might try to usurp me. So, I had to weaken his position. You were the one who said the investment team only listened to him and not me, that I had to assert my authority. You were the one who said Ethan was only with me for my money, that he didn't really love me. Jessica rubbed her swollen cheek and sneered. Yes, I said all of those things. But you were the one who believed them, weren't you? Ava, I never forced you to make any of those decisions. Or have you forgotten? At the end of the day, you were the one who didn't trust him. If you truly loved him, how could you have been so easily swayed by my words? The truth is, you're selfish. You don't love him. You just used him. You got so used to having him around that you mistook it for love. Everything you did was for yourself. Ava was shaking with rage. She tried to lunge at Jessica again, but Caleb held her tight. Ava, calm down. Getting angry won't solve anything. I can't calm down. I treated her like my own sister, and she conspired with my father to ruin my company. Jessica, you're fired. Get out. I will hate you for the rest of my life. I had no interest in watching the rest of this train wreck. I took Chloe's arm, and we walked away. My new colleagues from Morgan Enterprises had the good sense to follow our lead. Just before I walked Chloe to her door, I had to ask the question that had been burning in my mind. How did you know about my situation? You seem to know everything about me and Ava, even the details about her and Caleb. Chloe, who is always so poised and direct, actually blushed. I couldn't resist. I leaned in and kissed her. After a long moment, she gently pushed me away, trying to look stern. You big dummy. It's exactly what you think it is. Are you happy now? Then she turned and fled into her apartment. I stood there, a wide, goofy grin spreading across my face as I watched her go. The moment she stood up for me back at the restaurant, I knew how she felt. And how could I possibly let down a woman who had cared about me for so many years? I called out to her closed door, Chloe, I love you. When I got back to my own apartment, I found Ava waiting for me. Caleb was standing next to her, chain-smoking, a thoughtful expression on his face. Ava kept her head down, her eyes red and puffy. Seeing me, Caleb walked over. The usual arrogance was gone, replaced by a weary look. There was a hint of apology in his eyes. Ethan, I admit what I did was pretty low, but I really do love Ava, he said. Now that the misunderstanding between you two is cleared up, and since she insisted on coming here, I guess I lost. Take good care of her. I was speechless. Did he really need to perform this self-sacrificing drama for my benefit? Everything had been laid bare tonight. I stopped Caleb as he was about to leave. Everything that happened tonight was real, I said seriously, including the fact that I have a new girlfriend. You should both go. Ava, who had been silent until now, finally looked up, tears streaming down her face. Ethan, I was wrong. I shouldn't have listened to Jessica. She was the one manipulating everything. Let's not break up, okay? I swear, it will never happen again. I love you. Caleb already said he'll give you back the shares. The company belongs to both of us. Please, just forget about Chloe, okay? I took 2 steps back. You need to face reality, Ava. It's over between us. The problem was never Jessica's meddling. The problem is that you don't love me as much as you think you do. That's why you never trusted me. Go home with Caleb. Whatever he did, you can't deny that he loves you. You already broke my heart. Please don't break his too. Ava just stared at me, tears ruining her makeup. I had been thinking about it a lot, and I had to face the truth. Ava didn't love me anymore. We had been in love once, but that young, innocent love couldn't withstand the harsh realities of the world. The real issue between us was never Caleb. It was her own ambition and doubt. Please, just let me go. If you have any feeling left for what we once had, then stay out of my life. Let's just go our separate ways. 14 that night, I said everything that was in my heart, and Ava finally fell silent. She was a smart woman. She had to know that I was speaking the truths that she had buried deep inside herself, the ones she never wanted to face. She never bothered me again after that day. But I know that for a while, she would watch me from a distance, with Caleb always standing by her side. Soon, even that stopped. Ava fired Jessica, which infuriated her father. Jessica knew too many of the company's secrets that were Ava's leverage against her family's attempts to marry her off. To keep Ava under his thumb, Mr. Sterling began to use his corporate empire to systematically block his own daughter's company at every turn. As CEO, Ava was overwhelmed. Although Caleb stood firmly by her side this time, providing a massive infusion of cash and helping her restructure the company's strategy, they were only able to stabilize the bleeding. The company's original growth plan was now impossible. The best they could hope for was to be acquired and become a subsidiary of Sterling Corp or Vance Capital. To make matters worse, the money invested in the construction sector was hit by new government regulations. They were struggling to even recoup the principal, let alone any profit. The company's development ground to a halt. Her father used this as an opportunity to pressure her, demanding she hand over control of the company and agree to a strategic marriage. With no other options, Ava Sterling and Caleb Vance were married. On her wedding day, she had an invitation and a letter delivered to me. In the letter, she poured out her feelings for me and described the torment she'd been through. The last lines read, "Ethan, I'm getting married. I wanted so badly to invite you, to have your blessing, but I know you won't come. In the end, I was the one who was wrong about our relationship. Maybe our fate could have been different, but I didn't seize the chance when I had it. I missed my chance with you in this life. I hope I can get it right in the next. Goodbye, the boy I loved most." I didn't go to her wedding. We never had any contact again. Her number remains untouched in my phone's contact list. In the years that followed, I used my skills and instincts to help Morgan Enterprises become a leader in the industry. Chloe's father was thoroughly impressed with me. We got engaged. Ava's company was eventually absorbed by Vance Capital. At her insistence, she retained a 30% stake. I knew why, and so did Caleb. He didn't object. Ava gradually disappeared from the public eye. The once fierce female CEO was now living the very life she had once fought so hard to escape. 3 years passed. Chloe and I were happily married. At a business gala, I unexpectedly ran into Caleb. He was as charismatic as ever, effortlessly networking, laughing with partners and clients. Ava was across the room, circulating among the corporate wives, doing her part to build connections for the Vance family. She was still stunningly beautiful, but there was a deep, unshakable sadness in her eyes, hidden beneath a practiced, false smile. Chloe noticed my gaze lingering on Ava and quietly filled me in on what had happened over the past few years. Her father passed away. He left her a very small portion of his shares. The rest went to his other son. And even though Caleb loves her, their marriage fell apart a long time ago. I heard he has a mistress on the side. I think she's just accepted it. She doesn't seem to care about any of it anymore. She just holds on to her shares in that old company and plays the part of Mrs. Vance. Sensing Chloe's questioning gaze, I gently pulled her close and kissed her on the forehead. "You silly goose. Are you jealous? The only person in my heart now is you."